So it's the last night of pre-sem right now. Kind of the last day, it feels like it, but there's like a whole, like the most important day tomorrow for everyone, which is the exhibition. But right now, we're just all in our dorms, and I have literally nothing better to do except like maybe read books. So I'm just gonna reflect on my whole experience. And I must say, this isn't one of my favorite experiences, but it's definitely something I'm gonna remember for a long time because it's not always you spend like, 4 days away from home. So honestly, a lot of the things we did were pretty repetitive, and everyone was super bored most of the time. So day one, we all arrive here to school, and we're all like really excited, really like okay, I was super excited. I don't know about everybody else, but I didn't sleep well on Sunday night because I'm like, there's gonna be like a whole different thing we're gonna do tomorrow. So I'm like really excited. So we arrive and we get char kway teow for breakfast, which I thought was really funny. And we went up to our dorms. We checked in, and it was bigger than I thought. It stank, but it was bigger than I thought. And I was like, okay, that's great. It's like a ceiling fan that seems to be pretty strong. But everybody was complaining about like no aircon, so I couldn't relate to that because my entire house doesn't have aircon. And so we then after that, I think set off for our learning journeys. We went to the opening ceremony first and all that, but our learning journey was to the sports hub because our theme was promoting a sporting culture. And so it's related. And so we got a tour of a lot of things. We got to go downstairs of the National Stadium where even the VIP people can't go to because that's where I think all the commentating happens. And we saw the ice baths for the athletes, and we saw like their changing rooms, their massage rooms. It was just crazy thinking that like such huge stars were there once are gonna be there in the future too. So we also got to walk around National Stadium a bit, and I have been to National Stadium before, but not to that much of a close look. So apparently it's not that hot in there because they set out like 1.2 million like cooling balls or something to like cool the stadium down. And like I found that really crazy. There's like a scientific name for it. But I was like, because there are like fans in there and there's no aircon. So I was always like, how do people survive all the heat? And so our project problem is basically how to increase like spectator viewership in Singapore for like the local like football games and all that, because honestly Singapore football isn't as like celebrated, isn't as lauded as like Liverpool, Manchester United and all that. And so if you ask me right now, I wouldn't be able to name you a single like Singapore football team. So I think it's a very relevant issue. And also because people want to hear it's going to be at National Stadium, for some reason they don't want to go. And it's crazy to think that National Stadium is actually one of Singapore's, it's actually one of the world's biggest like stadiums. It's bigger than like the Olympic Indoor Hall in Greece. It's bigger than Beijing National Indoor Stadium that was made for the Olympics in 2008. So I find it really crazy that, the world's largest stadium, one of the world's largest stadiums is in Singapore, right like across the city from us. So knowing that definitely makes me want to visit the city a lot more, and I hope that it will encourage other people to do so too. And definitely, advertising facts about the seats, having all these cooling mechanisms can definitely encourage people to come more. But all in all, the solutions that my group kind of thought of was one, this app that is really similar to ActiveSG but better. It has the really like interesting features, such as like this Minecraft visual reality game thingy where you get to like race against athletes like maybe Shanti Pereira. I mean, obviously she's gonna be faster than you, but it kind of gives you an insight and helps you kind of immerse yourself into the sport further. And the second one was Tifo cheer. If you don't know what a Tifo cheer is, you can search it up. It's really cool. It's like the audience being coordinated in such a way that like they form like a certain design. Maybe it's like by the t-shirts, like some are blue, some are white, and it spells a word, that sort of thing. So I didn't know such a thing existed. So I think that might encourage me to go to these games. And I definitely didn't realize that this was such a issue in Singapore. I mean, it kind of is because, our sports should be a part of our national identity too. And besides that, so that was on day one. We got to see lots of cool things. There's also this like 8 1.8 km track around National Stadium that's like, sponsored by 100 Plus. It looks really cool. I didn't know it existed. So the marketing is terrible, but honestly, it makes me want to visit the place more. So that was day one. It was really fun. And we also got to go to this bicycle museum. Really weird. I didn't know it was like a museum about bicycles, but we got to see all sorts of bicycles there. And we also got to see the Singapore Youth Olympic Museum. Singapore hosted the Youth Olympic Games back in like 2010. And we got to see all the like Olympians and all their like achievements, and I found that really cool because I do watch the Olympics a lot. And so after that we went back to our dorms, and dinner was great that day. I don't know why I remember that. And honestly, it was pretty chill, but then I didn't sleep well on day one because ceiling fan creaking, and then after that my water bottle couldn't open, like the cap got jammed, and so I spent like 30 minutes trying to pry it open, and it took up a lot of I only slept I think 2 hours. So I woke up on Tuesday and I was super duper dead because 2 days in a row when you don't sleep, it's not good. And I somehow survived through the panel discussions. I mean, it was really cool, but by then I was starting to get kind of homesick because I had FaceTime my friend the previous night, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I miss my room, I miss crying about homework, I miss a lot of things, and I'm gonna be here for such a long time, and it's gonna be the same thing over and over and over again. So I was simply not looking forward to anything. So that just kind of ruins your ability to be participative. I was spacing out for 3 minutes in a row, I think, and my teacher just looked at me and was like, you know what, you just go back to your dorm, you need to sleep. And she was right. I slept 10 hours, and ironically I woke up this morning and I felt so fresh. I was like, I don't want to leave, this is awesome. So the activities today were super repetitive as well. What we did for most of Tuesday, from what I remember, was just sit in a seminar room. We gotta meet other groups, and we just present our project to them, and they present theirs to ours, and then we do more improvements. We present it again to them, and they present again to us. It's super repetitive and kind of boring after a while, especially when you spend from 7 a.m. ish to 9 p.m. ish on just thinking about his project, thinking about his idea, doing things related to this project. It just drains you, especially because I don't think any of us really care that much about this. It's just something that we're working on. It's not our life and soul depends on it. So at least that was my experience and a lot of other people's. And so after that, so on Wednesday was pretty similar as well, but except we start today with this huge game thingy where each group gets assigned an area in Singapore, and so mine was Woodlands. And so what we do is we imagine it 100 years from now, and then we get Lego and we build the city we're imagining. So it was really fun, except I suck at Lego, so I definitely found it fun though. I'm probably gonna go buy a set when all this is over. So half the group kind of just builds stuff, and the other half goes out and plays games and wins the Lego pieces. So it was really cool. I mean, some of the ideas we thought for the causeway were, adding more nature, adding more flowers and all that, because if we're stuck in a jam, I think it's good to have a good view. And someone suggested shops along Causeway, which at first I was like, that's pretty cool, except now I'm it's a highway. I mean, obviously it doesn't really make sense, and also because nobody's really going to stop there and buy things, in my opinion, because it's people on their spot. So after that, after the games we had lunch, and the cheers were super loud, so that was pretty draining. And after lunch we did what we did on Tuesday. We just presented things, and after that it was just 1 hour of kind of break time. We just sit around and wait for the bus. And so the bus took us back to North Hill, and in North Hill we have dinner, and after dinner they were like, if you're not involved in the presentation or the exhibition, just go back to your dorms. So I went back and I droned for a bit, and then I went down again, and I came back up and showered and kind of did my packing a bit, and I'm gonna pack further now. And honestly, it's been pretty long. I do not remember anything about myself before this week. And it's so eerily similar to MUN. Like MUN was just like this. You spend a whole day focused on something that you're super duper like, knowledgeable on and all that. And after that, you're also trying to solve a problem in MUN, and you're also talking to people from other schools you literally don't know. And it's just so similar, and MUN was definitely not my thing, so I can only imagine this one. And I'm grateful for the experience, but it definitely, ended up opening my eyes in ways which I didn't expect it to. For one thing, I realized I have this habit of just always pressuring myself to contribute like the most in group discussions. Like, I seem to treat it like a competition because I'm always afraid of being known as a freeloader because of past experiences where I like try to contribute and things would go wrong because I like absolutely sucked on math and science. So obviously this was a problem I realized. I realized that it's because of those kind of expectations I just subconsciously place on myself. It's like I'm not living in the moment, I'm not having fun, I'm spending every moment worried, and that just drains me. So obviously that's something that I'm definitely going to improve on, and that's something I'm glad that previous time has definitely made me realize. It's also made me realize how homesick I'm probably going to get if I like move overseas in the future. Like, if you know me, I'm always, always, always talking about how one day I'm going to go to Australia and, like, have a, like, life-changing experience slash adventure. It definitely made me realize that I'm definitely counting too fast ahead, and that definitely, even if I am independent, my lifestyle now means a lot to me, and I have a lot to be grateful for, and I shouldn't just, dream of the future all the time and just, look down at whatever I have now. So yeah, definitely opened my eyes as to where I want to study in the future. I mean, NTU dorms are pretty good to stay at, but whether I want to stay there or not, that's something that I've been able to think about. And because of the rates and everything and all the systems, I mean, I've looked at all the facilities we have here, and it's pretty interesting, but quite limited. Like, imagine you like soil your shirt and you have to like pay $1 to fix it every single time. And besides that, it's really been pretty okay. I'm just really, really excited to go back. It's just, I think, a little like around 16 hours. So I got to go back home, and I have not seen a mall in so long. I've not seen the MRT in so long. I am so excited to be back in the real world. I mean, technically, I'm like 2 km away from where I live, but it feels like I'm in the East, and I definitely chose to look at this experience as more like a break from like my actual life, because that's what it actually turned out to be. Sometimes you try out new things, they don't turn out to be your thing, and that's totally fine. But as long as you do take away something from it, that's what matters. So I definitely did get the break, mentally from, everything that goes on normally. And I definitely did get to meet new people, even if I don't really see myself really keeping in touch with them in the future. It's definitely very changing, and I'm definitely going to leave a better person. So if you are really into MUN, I would recommend this. If not, then probably not. So yeah, that's about it.